Yo, welcome to Swizzy 2K TV. Hello, everybody. This is the first episode of the Swizzy 2K TV podcast. I'm Swizzy, and I'm so excited to have you here with me on this journey. This podcast is more than just a platform. It's a place where we can connect, share stories, and grow together. Today marks the start of something new, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself and give you a glimpse of who I am. I've faced struggles, I've overcome challenges, and through it all, my faith has been a constant source of strength. This space is all about exploring life with purpose, sharing Christian faith-based insights, and offering encouragement for both men and women as we navigate this crazy, beautiful journey called life. Whether you're searching for inspiration, wrestling with hard questions, or just looking for a positive voice in your day, you'll find it here. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's dive into this first episode together. I'll be sharing a bit of my story, where I've been, how I've grown, and what keeps me moving forward. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to Swizzy 2K TV. Let's get started. So while working on this first episode of my podcast, I found myself feeling unexpectedly emotional. It's natural, especially when you're creating something deeply personal and meaningful. This podcast is a reflection of my story, my struggles, and my faith. Parts of myself that I'm opening up to share with all of you. Being vulnerable in this way is both powerful and challenging. These emotions remind me of the growth I've experienced and challenges I've overcome. Revisiting these moments brings a mix of gratitude, pride, and even a bit of lingering pain. It's a reminder of just how far I've come, and it fuels my desire to connect with you, all in a real and authentic way. I hope these emotions shine through in this episode and create a genuine connection with you. If you're listening, know that this comes straight from the heart, and incredibly grateful to have you on this journey with me. All right, so let's dive in. Fear. Fear is one of the 5 core emotions in Inside Out. It's a Pixar movie that explores the emotional world inside an 11-year-old girl's mind. Fear is responsible for keeping Riley safe by anticipating danger and helping her avoid risky situations. While he's often jumpy and overly cautious, fear plays an essential role in balancing Riley's emotions and ensuring her well-being. His nervous yet comedic personality brings plenty of laughs to the story, and while showing how a little caution can be an important part of life. Fear is highly relatable because he represents a fundamental part of the human experience. The instinct to anticipate danger and protect ourselves. Here are some ways fear resonates with us. Number 1, cautious decision making. Just like fear constantly analyzes risk, we often experience hesitation or worry when faced with uncertainty. Whether it's a big life decision or a daily choice, fear reflects the inner voice that urges us to think twice. Number 2, overthinking. Fear's tendency to jump to worst-case scenarios mirrors how our minds sometimes spiral with what-ifs, especially in stressful or unfamiliar situations. Protective instinct. Fear's main goal is to keep Riley safe, just as our fears help us avoid harm or failure. For instance, fear can remind us to prepare thoroughly or steer us away from unnecessary risks. Number 4, humor and nervousness. Fear's exaggerated reactions and antics remind us that even in moments of anxiety, we can often find humor in our quirks and learn to laugh at ourselves. Number 5, balancing emotions. Just as fear collaborates with our emotions to guide Riley, our own fears are part of a broader emotional spectrum. They teach us to be cautious while also emphasizing the importance of balancing fear with courage, joy, and hope. In essence, fear captures the universal experience of vulnerability and highlights the role it plays in helping us navigate the ups and downs of life. His character reminds us that fear isn't something to avoid, it's a natural part of being human. Now that we've explored fear in Inside Out and how it plays a role in protecting Riley, let's shift the focus to what fear means from a Christian perspective. In the movie, fear is about caution and self-preservation, but in faith, fear often has a deeper, more spiritual significance. For Christians, fear can take on two forms: the fear of the Lord and the fear of worldly challenges. The fear of the Lord isn't about being scared of God. It's a reverent awe and respect for his power, love, and authority. It's the kind of fear that humbles us and inspires us to trust in him. On the other hand, fear of the world, whether it's fear of failure, the unknown, or even danger, is something that faith encourages us to overcome by leaning on God's promises. Let's dive into these two perspectives on fear and see how they shape our spiritual journey. Fear of the Lord. So Proverbs 9 and 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." But this fear isn't about being afraid of God in the way we fear something harmful. Instead, it's a deep reverence, awe, and respect for his greatness, power, and holiness. It's a fear that draws us closer to God, reminding us of his sovereignty and our dependence on him. In Proverbs, this fear is foundational. It's the starting point of true wisdom and understanding. Recognizing God's greatness encourages humility, trust, and a desire to walk in obedience and alignment with his will. It's uplifting rather than paralyzing, highlighting God's love and guidance. This kind of fear invites us to live in awe of who God is, allowing his wisdom to guide our lives and shape our decisions. Fear of the world. On the flip side, worldly fear, the fear of challenges, failure, rejection, or uncertainty, can hold us back and cause anxiety. This is the kind of fear that Christian faith encourages us to confront and overcome. Scriptures like Isaiah 41 and 10 offer reassurance. "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my religious right hand." Through faith, worldly fear can be replaced with trust in God's plan and promises. Christians believe that leaning on him in times of uncertainty provides strength and courage, knowing that his perfect love drives out fear. As 1 John 4:18 reminds us, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. This verse speaks to the transformative power of God's unconditional love, freeing us from the paralyzing grip of fear, whether it's fear of failure, rejection, or uncertainty. When we embrace his love and trust in his promises, we're invited to live boldly, stepping out in faith rather than being held back by what ifs. God's perfect love reassures us that we are forgiven, accepted, and guided by his grace. This perspective offers peace and hope, reminding us that fear has no hold when we rest in the confidence of his love. Isaiah 41:10, a reminder of God's strength. One of the most powerful assurances in Scripture, Isaiah 41:10, reminds us that fear does not have the final say. It's already in. "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This verse speaks directly to the human experience of fear. When God first spoke these words to Israel, they were facing hardships, exile, and uncertain future. Yet in the midst of their struggles, God reminded them that his presence, strength, and help were unwavering. For believers today, Isaiah 41:10 carries the same message of hope, that no matter what kind of fear we face, whether it's the fear of the unknown or personal failure, God assures us that we are never alone. His righteous right hand is a symbol of divine protection and steadfast love, a reminder that we can face life's challenges with confidence. This verse beautifully bridges the topic of fear, whether it's reverence for the Lord or the fear that seeks to control us, and serves as a final reassurance that God walks with us, upholding us in his strength and love. All right. So as you can see, I have on the fear shirt from the movie Inside Out, just to represent that character. So I just want to encourage anyone and everyone who's dealing with some kind of fear in their life. I'll be honest, with this being my first episode of a podcast, I'm scared. I'm scared to record. I'm scared of just putting this whole production together. It's fear of the unknown. It's not knowing how this podcast will be perceived. It's the fear of the unknown of how people will perceive me. There are, I'm basically being vulnerable to you all and the world about my life. And being vulnerable is scary. It is hard. It is fearful. Sometimes when you're vulnerable, people use that vulnerability against you, and it can hurt you. Reputation is everything. So things that may have happened in your past, they may come to light, or skeletons in your closet may come out. So it's definitely a fear of mine starting this new journey with this podcast, with just being honest and open. I hope to touch lives with, this podcast, being able to share my faith, share struggles that I've gone through. There are several times in my life that I can think of when I was afraid, but it was God that basically brought me through. Scripture, my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. In that scripture, basically says that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and that are called according to his purpose. So I do love God, and I do feel that I'm serving a purpose. I feel like that I'm serving it for him, and that I'm trying to basically just share with the world the love of Jesus, to share why he came and died for our sins, as well as just being a servant to others. Jesus came to serve, so I feel that it's important that I serve. So I haven't been perfect all of my life, of course. So as I just mentioned, I've had some failures. I can recall going off to college, being scared, never leaving home, and just being on my own. I didn't grow up with a perfect family. So, when I went to college and was on my own, I was just, I don't want to say in the world blindly, but, I was only 18. So I would say I didn't have that much, I don't want to say encouragement, but just, I guess I didn't have as much guidance. So, going through college, I can remember, failing college, flunking out of college, and not wanting to go home to Benton Harbor because I didn't want to be a failure, or I didn't want to be seen as a failure, should I say. my mother, friends, family, church family that I had, a lot of the community really expected great things out of me. I thought, as well as others thought, that I was going to be a doctor. That was what I wanted to be, and that's what I was set out to be. And it was like, okay, he's going to be Dr. Langley one day. But, I flunked out of school, man. I was too busy wanting to hang out, not taking care of my responsibilities, not studying, wanting to party, caring too much about women and girls, and just my priorities were not in order. So when I flunked out of college, I basically feared for my life in a way. I was fearful of embarrassment. So I decided to be homeless instead of going back to Benton Harbor. Some people don't know that I was homeless for a little while. I was working at Macy's, a little job, before I even went to the Air Force. I stayed in this dude's closet. He had like a big old walk-in closet, a 1-bedroom apartment. He let me stay there. I slept in the closet, as in, I guess looking back on it, I wouldn't say it's embarrassing to say, but, we all have a phase in our life where we felt like a failure, and I felt like a failure at that time. So, yeah. I was able to get into the Air Force, and I guess, going through a few items on my fear list. At that time, I was fearful of being a father. There was a young lady that had said that a child was mine, I remember. And, when the baby came, baby was light skinned, and, I was ready to step up and be a dad. But at the same time, kind of in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I want to go to the Air Force. My recruiter was saying I couldn't get in if that child was mine. So a couple months go by. We have the test done. The baby starts turning brown skin. I'm real bright light skin, so I know it's a possibility, but I was like, this baby not mine, bro. So ended up having the test done. The baby was not mine. I promise you, it was kind of like a Maury show. I literally was like jumping up and down, calling all my friends, like, you are not the father. So as you can imagine, though, that was a scary time of my life, because a lot was weighing on if I was the dad or not. So it was fear of either being a dad or fear of not being able to get into the Air Force. So I was able to get into the Air Force, which is great. I actually had a good time when I was in the Air Force. I had some failures and some shortcomings, while in the Air Force. But moving along, I guess, to some other areas of fear in my life was, I guess, more recent fear is, I am divorced. I divorced from my recent 6-year-old son's mother. Yeah. So, divorced from my son's mother, and it's pretty hard because I thought that this woman was going to be the love of my life forever, you know. But it didn't work out that way. And it was my fault. It was definitely my fault. Majority, I'd say 99% is my fault. And so, you know, you have the fear of obviously being married at that time, and then the fear of divorce. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to pause for a moment and regather my thoughts. So yeah, but we'll redirect. We'll come back to that story in another episode. All right, so what's popping right now? So what's popping right now is what we're all talking about on social media. And, you know, radio, TV. We're talking about the NFL draft, which happened a couple of days ago, you know, from Thursday through Sunday, you know, over the weekend. The NFL draft, the most popular topic was Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders. You know, he was drafted in the 5th round. I believe he was the 166th pick, I believe. Just what happened to him, as the young people like to say, is diabolical. That was diabolical. What happened to Shedeur Sanders with the NFL draft was diabolical. Shedeur Sanders was projected to be a first round pick. On some people's mock draft, he was listed as maybe the number 1 or number 2 best quarterback in the country. And I've never seen anybody in my 40 years of living be so talked about, and stock was so high in a sport, to have such, I don't want to say fall from grace, but I've never seen someone who was projected so high but get drafted so low. I've seen people fall in the draft, and it's normal. I mean, the mock drafts, that's what they are. They're mock drafts. They are people's opinion on where they believe a player will be projected based on what they believe the needs are of the NFL team. So a lot of speculation was that Shedeur Sanders was going to be drafted early in the first round. He fell all the way to the 5th round, and people were just shocked. Like, the whole world was shocked. You know, newscasters, sportscasters, Stephen A. Smith, several people were shocked. And obviously social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, or whatnot, were all voicing their opinions on it. You know, and we believe, or not we, but a lot of people believe that it was a situation of race, which played a part in it, you know, or they want to, you know, as we know, the NFL is governed by a bunch of older white owners. So, you know, they were said to, or it's said in social media that those owners colluded together to basically take Shedeur Sanders off their draft boards at all, like, or essentially teach him a lesson per se. Like, whenever there's a young man who is sure of himself. They say that the white owners want to basically put someone in their place. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I feel like there is something going on that made him drop like that. He is a very confident young man. I wouldn't say that he is cocky, or I feel like it's all confidence. I don't feel like it's arrogance. He showed true character throughout this whole draft process. He basically leaned on his faith and leaned on his family, and he showed great character considering having such a fall in the draft. There was even a point where he was even prank called by one of the coach's sons. It said that I think it's one of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator's son somehow got Shador's phone number and called him, like, I believe during the second round or so, during, I believe, the Saints pick, and basically prank called Shador. I've heard that he's prank called other players as well, but obviously Shador is the headline of that. So Shador is now going to be on the Cleveland Browns, where they have like 5 quarterbacks now. I really think he has a legitimate shot of, being a starting quarterback. I think that he'll not only make the team, but he could be the starting quarterback. You got an older Joe Flacco. You got Kenny Pickett that just came from the Eagles that's, not really showing us much. And then you got the quarterback that was drafted just before him, I believe in round 3, who I believe Shador stats outshine the other young man that was drafted. And then obviously we got Deshaun Watson, who's coming off an injury. I was rooting for Deshaun Watson as far as wanting to see him excel in football. But obviously we know the outside distractions and things. So I think he's done. He's got a lot of off the field issues, which I believe have hurt on the field, and then with the physical injuries, I don't think just Deshaun Watson is going to be in the league much longer. Sad to say, but I'm hopeful for Shador. I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan through and through since the early 2000s. As a young kid, I might have to get a Shador Sanders jersey, at least to support or something of his. Maybe not a jersey, but something. He definitely deserves our support as a community, and I want to support the young man. What Deion Sanders has done for his kids and that Colorado program is just amazing. And, he's a black father. He did everything that he could for, his kids that he coached. And this is what we want our black fathers to do, is to lead, to mentor, to be there for them, and to help get them where they need to be. And he did a heck of a job trying to get Shador where he needed to be, even taking Travis Hunter under his wing, and helping him as well. So yeah, man, just a crazy situation at the NFL draft. But we're happy that he got drafted nonetheless, and he'll be able to showcase what he can do. I did hear a lot of people comparing the Shedeur Sanders situation to Colin Kaepernick. I don't think that's the same thing. I don't think the comparison is valid. I feel like Colin Kaepernick was literally standing for something way bigger than the NFL, and he essentially sacrificed his career to stand up for what he believed in. He hasn't played football since like 2017, so it's been a long time, and obviously he's not coming back to play, at least for the NFL. So obviously we wish him well, but it's definitely not the same situation. Obviously there's similarities with both men being African American men, and it always somehow comes down to a race thing. So, but at the end of the day, Shedeur is picked, and hopefully he shines. I mentioned that I hope the Browns get to the Super Bowl, and they'll have to play against my Eagles, and I got to go with my Eagles. I want my Eagles to win another Super Bowl, and if it's against the Browns, that's fine with me, or whoever they play. But I want Shedeur to have some success. So, but yeah, man, that's what's popping right now. So yeah, recording the first episode of the Swizzy 2K TV podcast. Man, I tell you, it has been so challenging and hard to do a podcast. And it is fearful of starting this podcast. But I just wanted to get into just like the nuances of it and the logistics of it. So starting a podcast can be overwhelming. You think it's so easy to just, pick up a mic and talk. It's not that easy, man. You really, you gotta have a talent for this, it seems. And I'm not saying I have the talent for it, at least yet, because I don't know. I mean, I'm starting a new journey and a new chapter on this, but I wouldn't record for like a lot of different reasons. Like I wouldn't record if I didn't have a haircut. I wouldn't record if my washer and dryer was going because of the noise. So it's quiet in here. It took me about 20 minutes to set up this ring light to be right here. I had the ring light over there for a while with a different light here. As you can see, possibly a little glare off my glasses, and it's like I'm trying to just not have the glare on my glasses. And then again, I don't want to put my contacts in because they're kind of uncomfortable. And also like buying this equipment, like figuring out what headphones work well, what microphone works well. I bought this headset and this microphone. It's got like this USB cable with another connection, a USB-C, I believe it's called, connection adapter into my phone. So having to figure out the logistics of plugging it in to be able to record. Like right now, I'm recording on my cell phone. I have a Samsung Galaxy S24, so I'm recording on my cell phone. I got this microphone probably off Amazon. It's got like a little handle here. I originally bought some podcast equipment off like Temu or something, which it's actually not bad. that I have. But these headphones and the microphone right here were definitely off of Amazon. But yeah, man, just the logistics of it all, and just the little simple things of what makes you not want to just record. And it's like I've been letting such little things hold me back from recording and going on this new journey that I've been talking about for so long. Like I said, haircut, the aesthetics of things. I didn't know if I wanted to record with this on the background, or I just ordered all of these for mixedhouse.com. So it's like, okay, is my setup good? Like, am I going to use my laptop, or what am I do? Am I going to have a desk or whatnot? It's like, in reality, it's not that serious, but it is that serious in a way, because you want to be comfortable, with your setup and, the aesthetics of things. You want people to see things in the background and see a little bit of your personality or whatnot. So it's just interesting. It took me forever just to even start recording, or at least trying. Just tonight was a night that I was like, I don't, I worked like 8 to 10 hours today. And then I was tired. That's another thing, like working daily and then trying to do something on your own can be tiring. So, doing this, obviously late in the evening, trying to accomplish something, trying to help others with this podcast, trying to step out on a new journey for me, and something that could be beneficial for me and my family. So I don't know. I've always been a very optimistic person that has persevered through many challenges and obstacles. I wouldn't say that I've always been someone that wanted to be a public speaker or anything like that, but who knows? Who knows what can happen with this? But I just wanted to share just the struggles of trying to do a podcast. Now that's just the logistics of it. They're also obviously trying to see about getting it on streaming services, having it on Facebook or YouTube, learning the ins and outs of those. I've watched plenty of YouTube videos, done a lot of Google searches, trying to just research how to do this. I've been wanting to do a podcast on my own, but obviously I hear a lot of people like, "Oh man, you should interview people, or you should have so and so on your podcast," which is true. Maybe I would like to embark on interviewing people at some point, but right now I just want to be me. I want to try to help people and influence people with my words. Obviously, I pray that the Lord speaks through me and allows that He blesses me to be a blessing to others. So I hope that is what happens. But yeah, I'm just excited about this, man. It's scary, man. It's definitely scary. I mean, but as you can see, I got this little Pixar character on my shirt, Fear. And so I'm doing my best to overcome this fear of starting this. Man, I've been saying I wanted to do a podcast for at least 2 years, if not more. Yeah, I had equipment for a long time. Originally, I wanted to be a gamer for a little while. I wanted to game, which still could be in the cards. I'm not sure. I was really good at NBA 2K on PlayStation, but I stopped playing the game for a little while because I wanted to focus on some priorities in life. So the gaming aspect of streaming and podcasting wasn't working at the time. So of course, the main thing was to do a podcast where I'm trying to uplift individuals, with sharing of my Christian faith, kind of encouraging men and women about things. I've been through a ton, man. I've had several failures in life, including divorce, losses of jobs, and I don't know, being alone at times. So there's just a lot of moments in my life to where I've been trying to just help individuals or share my story, and hopefully it will be beneficial to others. But yeah, man, thank you for tuning in to my first episode of the Swizzy 2K TV podcast. I definitely would like that you, wherever you see this video, to like it, share it with a friend. You never know who can be informed or touched by the message. Subscribe to it. Like my Facebook page. I'd like you to go to my YouTube page and support and subscribe, and just support in whatever way that you can. All right, man. I appreciate you all, man. God bless. Peace.